close. Aaron.
No shot at getting demonetized on that one, right?
No, we're good.
Jeez.
What's
going
good
on with the Hawk one or whatever that one is?
I don't know who the hell that don't ask
me.
Come
on, Hawk. We've been playing, fine. We don't play it. We don't need it.
Yeah, we don't need it. Exactly.
You want to claim it? Have it. It's not getting played anymore. Nothing to claim. So it's yours, buddy.
Exactly. What's up, chat?
So, guys, the Boras 4.
The Boras 4.
And we're going to talk about that a little bit tonight. And
what's up, Michael?
I want to pose a question to you guys. And I'm going to do this in the form, I'm going to prove to you that the Giants ownership is not all that serious about winning. And let me put it to you this way. Let's reverse the roles, the rosters. Same situation. Giants have won 3 out of the, 5 World Series 10, 12, 14 years ago. Now it's been 14 years ago for the first one. So they've got 3. Yeah, they've got 3 in the last 14. The Dodgers got what do you want to call it? A cracker box jacks of, kind of not a really real World Series. It really feels like you really played the 162. Right. Yeah. So let's say the Giants had that.
What's up, Mike?
Let's say the roles were, let's just say the roles are what they are. Dodgers got their one in 2020, and they're still gunning for that real 162 full season. And let's say the Giants had signed Ohtani and Yamamoto, and they happened to make a trade for Glasnow and Margot, and they also picked up
Teoscar
Hernandez. And the Giants roster was pretty much like the Dodgers. Freeman, Betts, the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
Would the Dodgers be sitting there right now letting these 4 guys just sit and rot? Or and again, the Dodgers were going for it. They tried to get Ohtani and Yamamoto, but somehow they chose the Giants. So what would the Dodgers be doing right now? I would propose to you that the Dodgers would be signing Montgomery and Snell, and they would go after probably Bellinger. They might even go after Chapman, and they would say, all right, we're going to compete with what, these guys are the ones that are left, and we're going to get them. That's why I don't think the Giants are serious about catching their arch rival, because they're not going to win the division, but you can beat them in a series like Arizona did last year, a 5-game series.
Sure.
I mean, you tell me, if the Giants had Webb, Snell, and Montgomery going in a 5-game series against Yamamoto,
feeling pretty good.
Glasnow.
Dodgers.
I mean, the Dodgers would have but what do the Dodgers have? They would have Yamamoto, Glasnow. Does he even make it to the end of the season?
And Buehler.
And Buehler, Buehler's not pitching yet. I think he had some kind of a setback. Why is he not pitching?
Bobby Miller's there. He's really good.
Yeah. I mean, the Dodgers have, I'm telling you, it would not be a shock, though, to see that 3, Snell and Webb and Montgomery, go up against and be able to stay in a game against those guys of the Dodgers. So You're not forget the 162. We've seen that 162 is not the be all, it's about getting into the series, getting set up, being hot. And the Giants won 3 World Series, and not one of those World Series were they favored in the playoffs.
Right, correct.
Absolutely.
So
underdogs in all 3, yeah.
So you get in. We saw what Arizona did last year. We saw what the Phillies did the year before. It's not impossible for a wild card team to get in and make it to the World Series. So
that's what kind of made the Rangers winning the World Series. Like their starting pitching wasn't great.
It wasn't the greatest.
Nope, it wasn't.
They stepped up at the right time, but it wasn't great.
Yeah. They just 1 through 9 mashed.
Yes, they did.
Typically, dominant starting pitching, timely hitting, good defense, and a good bullpen is going to win you a lot of playoff games.
Mm-hmm.
So even if the Giants sign these 4 guys that are available right now on paper and over 162, they're not better than the Dodgers. But
No,
Dan's right. But Dan's right. It does make it interesting that if they get in, and because of the rivalry, I mean, the Giants have given the Dodgers kind of a hard time the last few years with,
they have,
a 2-star lineup and a 2-star roster. They've not exactly lost what did they play each other 18 times? It's not been 15-3
18
or
times
14.
in 22 last year, 13. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've been competitive. In fact, I think they swept the Dodgers in LA last year. So between it being a rivalry and them having a little bit more pieces to fight them with, absolutely. If they got in, Dodgers wouldn't want to see the Giants.
I mean, I think the Giants, if they sign Snell or Montgomery and Bellinger or Chapman, I'd rather not be Chapman, but I think you sign 2 of those guys, 1 pitcher and 1 position player, you make yourself definite. You put yourself right in that 5-6 range, that 5th, 6th wild card spot. I think you become the favorite to get the 6th spot.
For sure.
And here's the thing. And Hoodie, I don't mean to pick on you. I'm not picking on you. But you see his avatar. Who is that? Who's that
Pablo?
picture of?
Is that Pablo?
Right. This is what I'm talking about. We're excited about a 37-year-old Pablo Sandoval. Who's going to do what for the team? Let's be honest. Compared to what other teams are doing.
At best. That's
what I'm saying. This is where the San Francisco Giants are now. You're getting excited about a DH in Soler. Is he decent? Yeah, sure he's decent. But is he going to really is he going to make much of a difference in the construction of the current roster? Same thing with Pablo.
Not if they don't get anybody behind him.
But this is what I'm talking about. This is what we got to get excited about. And it's pretty depressing as a Giants fan.
Hey guys,
this is what we're getting excited about.
Guys, let me share with you where I'm coming from so you understand me. I don't expect the Giants to do any of this stuff. Okay. I understand what Farhan's. My point about what NorCal Sports is here to tell you what other organizations, media outlets are not going to tell you. Okay, we're here to tell you that the Giants aren't serious about really, really winning. They're going to give it a try, the old college try. And if they happen to be, the Giants are content just being in that race in September. And if they squeak in, they're really thrilled and they're going to try to get in. But they're not determined at all costs like the Dodgers are to win a championship. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The Giants they're not the 49ers that just finished the year and are working on 24, trying to figure a way to get back to the Super Bowl. That's not the Giants. Okay? They're not the Warriors who are, even though the Warriors are 1 game over 500, still believe they can get to the championship because, they have the guns
pedigree
and, to get there if things fall. The Giants are just hoping. They're just hoping. They're not planning. There's not a plan like we're going to make playoffs and get to the World Series in 24. And so I'm not sure what put Hootie's comment up. He made, what was that comment he made about, I guess they're just, where was it, Eric?
Which one?
The one you had up, this one.
Oh,
I'm not sure exactly what he's saying here. Absolutely not, but they more hungry than giants. Is he talking about the Dodgers?
Yeah.
Okay, 3 rings make you lackluster, I guess.
It should.
I believe it does. I believe the 3 rings have made them lackluster. As I said last night, I believe the focus, I think the new toy, what the Giants ownership is really focused on is developing Mission Rock, turning that into a mega monster, real estate cash cow. And I think that's all new to them. These guys are investors. Investors get excited when they start making money.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we all love to, right? I mean, we invest in, whether it be stocks, mutual funds, whatever it is, or you make a nice parlay bet. You're pretty excited. Yeah, you get pretty excited about when you start making money and you get your statement, you see your money's gone up. Well, the Giants ownership got 3 World Series. A lot of guys have left the ownership group. New guys are coming in. And as Eric said last night, read their bios. These guys aren't baseball guys. These guys are all about, hey, you know what? It's an investment. We all have an option right now. If we wanted to, we can go place our money in some type of investment that may or may not pan out. These guys getting into what they are doing at Mission Rock, it's a gold mine. That property value is not going down.
No. Usually you don't go wrong with property, right? Usually. I
mean, you could have a downturn, but they're going to have people renting and there's going to be money coming in. And so
this ownership group is very lucky that this roster, as it's constructed, is not going into the 2024 season with their home games at Candlestick. Because if these games were at Candlestick, they would average about 14,000 people a game, because the Candlestick crowd was a baseball crowd. You went there to see good quality baseball, not the Bay Bridge and not taking selfies. We talked about this a lot last year. Like 50% of our fan base right now, unfortunately, goes for the event. It's an event. I'm at Oracle, one of the top 3 most beautiful ballparks in the country for baseball.
Yep.
And if it's a good game, that's a bonus. But they go there to have a little food, you know, take some selfies.
It's a social gathering rather than watching baseball. Gathering.
Oh, and they have and I said this a few weeks ago, they have they have more special nights now than ever. They have Italian night, Mexican night, singles night,
Filipino night. It's
Ratos night, Ratos bobblehead,
Pride night, whatever. They got every kind. They got everybody.
Night, Bruce Lee
Everybody's
night.
covered.
I mean, you name it. NorCal Sports Network night. I mean, they need to have that. I mean, we'll all show up to that if they have that.
The Ratos bobblehead.
Yeah, but they have to have these nights to draw people in, because it's not going to be because of the quality baseball.
Yeah, Candlestick. Guys, look, who's hurt? Let's discuss the roster. Who's hurt? We got Keaton Wynn, who's sitting down for a while now with a little bit of a strained elbow. MRI came back clean, saying it's nothing to be concerned about. But anytime a pitcher's got an elbow issue, I'm not saying. Flags. Of course it does, because you know what? It's okay. Now he's fine. Okay, now he's back out pitching. Oh, you know what? Elbows flared up a little bit.
Yep, it's discomfort again.
Yeah, a little discomfort. Now all of a sudden, it's like Dre Greenlaw. Anytime you hear of a guy who's got tendonitis in the Achilles, or he's got some calf issues, it's just you remember when KD went down with the Achilles in the finals against Toronto Los?
Right.
Yep.
Well, what was the issue like weeks before? It was the calf, right?
The calf bone connected to the Achilles bone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It is. Anytime there's calf issues consistently. I mean, Dre Greenlaw was dealing with tightness in the Achilles and in the calf all year long. And it finally exploded on him, coincidentally, after he practiced on a soft field all week.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
we don't want to get into that.
Yeah,
a whole different story and topic.
Yeah,
But
I mean, if I'm Drake Greenlaw, man, I would be looking into possibly
lawsuit.
suing the NFL for that, man.
That would.
Did you say
that would
Greenlaw? Did you say Greenlaw?
I may have. You have to play it back. Greenlaw made a slip of the tongue there. Greenlaw, yeah, that's frustrating.
I love it.
Good evening, Red Shell. Wait, I said Red. It's good evening, Shell. Yes.
Hi, Red.
Seeing some of her lives on Instagram. She does some amazing work with some video stuff, video production.
Red is talented. She knows what she's doing.
Yeah. So there we go.
And then we got Yaz, right, with a cranky shoulder as well.
Yeah, an impingement.
Whatever that. Yeah.
What did he sleep on it wrong, or did he throw? Did he swing?
They say he can hit, but he can't throw so much, I guess, or something.
All right, and Slater can't throw, but Yaz is our starting right fielder, right? Okay.
Yes,
All right. Correct. All right. You know,
no matter what Ramos does in spring training, remember,
it don't matter.
You know what? Here's my thing Here's my thing. Guys get hurt. They come into camp. They're sore. Whatever. It happens. It happens to every team. But when Yaz this is the third year in a row that he's coming in with injury, and then you hand him a starting job, so to speak, according to Farhan, that the outfield is set, Conforto, Lee, and Yaz, and you look at Yaz's production, it's gone down steadily from 21, 22, 23.
Mm-hmm.
Batting average went up last year, I think, to 233, but his home runs were down. And granted, he missed a lot of ball games with that hamstring. But my point isn't that Yaz is a bad player anyway. It's just why say he's
starter?
Why do you say he's the everyday starter when you're talking about you want to look at and see what you got in the youngsters in Matos or Ramos? Why not say, hey, we're not sure what the outfield's going to be. It's going to be an open competition. We're going to see how these guys do.
And what did Farhan say at the end of the season? He wished he got a better look at who?
Ramos.
But yet they're coming out and saying it's Conforto Lee.
Him out for the things
we do it every night. But I call him a liar all the damn time.
How do you feel if you're Bob Melvin to have your baseball of operations guy who doesn't really know the game just come out and say, yeah, our outfield is set. We don't need spring training. We don't need to see, how they're doing, what condition they're in. Our outfield is set. It's going to be Conforto, Lee, and Yaz. I mean, how does Bob Melvin, who's in his first year managing here, think about that? If I'm Melvin, I take Farhan in an office and say, please don't do that. Let me manage this team. Let me see what I have.
Yeah, why is that even Farhan's decision?
That's not his
Here's
decision.
the point, Los. To a bigger question. You know what you do? Now you've undermined the ability of the players having trust in Melvin because they know that if Farhan above him will make moves. So it doesn't matter what Melvin tells them. So they're going to already be checked out knowing, hey, I can't, if I do well in the eyes of my manager, I still got Farhan to worry about.
I don't know if these players are going to worry personally about Farhan just because I think he ran guys. He's the reason the roster looks the way it does because
Absolutely.
Guys around the league talk to other players, and darn well that guys like Ross Stripling and Mania and some of the other guys, they talk. And a lot of guys have left this organization. We heard it from Dubon. We've heard it from others. I believe that this thing is going to happen. If Farhan starts, Farhan should just not even hardly be talking. His job should just be putting the roster, getting guys signed, and when it comes to the who's starting and who's playing, he should say that's up to the manager.
Thank you.
That's up to the manager.
Correct.
That's
why
his
they
job.
can't say that. And they
So-
just totally messed it up.
With him coming out and saying that, I thought he was going to give the next manager autonomy.
Yeah,
He said
right.
last year in the dugout, I need to give more autonomy to the manager.
But-
I thought
but
that's
who-
what you said. You know, if I'm Bob Melvin, like Lowe said, I'm talking to Farhan and saying, hey, either let me manage this club or find somebody else to manage. I didn't
Correct.
come here for to be
Yep.
told exactly who's going to play, where they're going to bat, all this stuff.
I really hope he did, because if he didn't and just allow him to continue to do what he's always doing, it's not going to be good.
Look, Farhan should have zero voice when it comes to the who plays and when they
No.
play. He's not the manager. Yes, he's going to have a say in what the roster looks like to a certain extent. He's creating the 40-man roster, and he's going to be part of who makes the 26-man roster, I'm sure, based on, there's factors that go into it, who's got options left, who doesn't have options, all kinds of different things. So, I mean, that has to go in, but bottom line is Bob Melvin's an experienced big league manager and a successful big league manager. And he has to be able to make the decisions. And I don't know if we'll see. We'll see what the lineups look like. We'll get a good taste the first 7 games out, right? We got 4 in San Diego, 3 in LA, starting right off. What's the opener? March 28th, I believe it is, for the Padres. I think it's a Thursday afternoon, a 1:10 game, if I'm not mistaken, on the 28th of March. Let me look it up right here, guys. I'll tell you right now. Schedule March 28th, 1:10. Yeah. So they're going to be facing the Padres for 4. Then they go to LA for 3. That's a road trip. You want to try and come back at least 3 and 4. And, you want to take at least minimum, you want to take 2 in San Diego. You want to split that. You don't want to go 1 and 3 and then go into LA and possibly come home 1 and 6 on their trip.
Sadly, if we could put a muzzle on Farhan and he couldn't talk, our GM, Pete Petulia, is not much better. When he spoke at the winter meetings, oh my God, I never thought I wanted to see Farhan get back up on there, but I mean, talk about Dumb and Dumber.
Oh, and I talked about this a couple of times.
Wow.
The way, the body language of Farhan when he was on that set, it's out of his element. He looked so bad when he was sitting up there. He knew what he was saying was a bunch of bullshit.
I'm sure the analytical
The
department.
analytic guys want to win. They
The
do.
analytical department is giving him a bunch of high fives, though, right?
Yeah.
Because he defended them.
Yeah.
It's just
Jim Thurkill says, Dan, what will your thoughts be on Farhan year 10? Because with real estate developers as owners, that's where this is going.
year 10. Don't even say
Hey,
that.
you know what?
Don't even say
It wouldn't. None of this would shock me. None of this would shock me because all his Farhan has to do is make the playoffs in one of the next 3 years, and he's going to be extended for another 3 years. And then you are on, because next year is year 7. This is year 6, 7, 8. Yeah. So all he needs is one more contract, and wouldn't shock me. I will say this, guys, and I will put it down, mark it down. Call me out on it if I'm ever wrong. I'd love to be wrong and be, kind of made the joke of social media. But I'll go on record and say the Giants will never win a World Series with Farhan at the helm, at the chart, at the if he's the top guy making the moves, I don't see how this team wins another World Series. I just don't. And, some of the guys that are coming up in the, farm system, that there looks like potential, but we've heard that before. We'll see how it plays out. I think Eldridge may have a pretty good shot. I'm going to show you guys something here that I saw.
It's probably coming, Aaron. It's probably coming.
Take a look at this, guys. See what you think of this. Can you guys see it?
Yeah, got it.
Total war of
Okay.
every Major League Baseball team's first-round picks of the last, 10 years.
Okay.
Guys, see that?
Here? Houston. Okay.
And a lot of these guys, they could be playing for other teams. Like the Phillies, 40.1. I think a lot of that is, or the Padres, there it is Trey Turner, 33. He was drafted by the Padres. Okay. So as we look at the player there, Will Smith of the Dodgers eats up 14, but they're fifth. A's Matt Chapman, look at that. He's 31.2. That means the rest of their guys are negative to drop it to 29.6. Look at the Braves, Austin Riley. So it's kind of interesting. Look at the White Sox, Rodon, 15.8. Wonder where the Giants we're gonna find them. Any predictions?
They got it close to the bottom. Got to be.
Look at Conforto.
Draft picks? Oh, yeah. They got to be damn close to the bottom.
This is the last 10 years. So this would be
gotcha.
Orioles, Rutschman, 9.6 or 16.9. Trent Grisham for the Brewers. That's interesting. He's got an 11 WAR over the last how many years? I don't know how long he's been playing. What?
Look at that, Michael Conforto with the Mets.
Yeah, Conforto.
Kyle Freeland.
Seattle. Brady Singer, pitcher.
Mm-hmm.
Where did Ramirez come from with the Guardians? Because he's like a top 10 player, really.
Yeah, but no, because he was international draft.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. That's right. That's right. And Jonathan, okay. I'm not looking at the comments because I'm scrolling up.
No worries.
Okay, I don't know if we're having any comments, but I'm scrolling down. I don't know
where the hell are we?
We're getting close to the bottom, I think. Texas, Josh Jung, 2.4. Wow.
That's my boy.
Yankees are down. Look at that. Yankees haven't had any success in the draft. Riley Green, these are relatively new because he's only first year guy?
Hey, look who's back. The guy who doesn't know anything about baseball, Giovanni.
Oh, Giovanni.
Yes, I'm back and I'm keeping receipts.
Keep them.
There we go.
Are you kidding me? Really?
The only minus in baseball. That's their best draft so far in the last 10 years. There we go, guys.
That's bad.
That's pretty bad. What's Giovanni saying?
Giants will make wild card.
Nothing worth listening to.
Oh, Giovanni, you want to come in here and put a little wager on that? We don't do buckets on this channel unless you got some money behind it. I'll give you some odds too. Give you favorable odds. How about a C note for 2-1 odds? I'll give you 200. You give me 100.
For what?
The Giants making the playoffs.
Oh, making the playoffs?
Yeah.
There we go. Remember, this is the guy that thought Stripling was still pitching for the Giants.
Oh, he knows the game.
He does. Yeah, absolutely.
Please come in and join fantasy baseball. I would love to take your name.
Come on, join fantasy baseball. What's his name again?
Giovanni.
Wait, is that the guy?
That's the guy.
Okay, that's the guy. Is that the guy that said I was a racist because I called him Italian or something? Or
yeah, that's the one.
And I'm Italian, and I just said you're an Italian with whatever. Okay.
Remembers this day.
You haven't said arrivederci Chattore in a long time.
Oh, you haven't? Yeah.
Yeah, I'll wait till the baseball season starts.
There we go.
All right.
Yeah, save it.
Here's something I don't think we've ever discussed. I don't even know if it's feasible. I'm just going to throw it out there. Could ownership sell the Giants the Giants organization, the Giants operations, but keep their real estate holdings in Mission Rock? Real estate can be very creative. Of course, I'm in that industry. So what I'm saying here is if they are all in because of the real estate and they're getting a lot of pressure because they keep losing, they can make a lot of money just selling the team, the operations, the Giants, maybe throwing the stadium to new ownership, but keep Mission Rock and the real estate. Is that
we talked about
that all have to be together?
You could actually break it up, but I don't think they would because that's paid for land.
Right.
That's their biggest piece. I mean, if everything falls apart, they still got that land. You know,
wishful thinking. I'm just trying to get ownership.
Yeah, I hear you.
Hey,
try to figure out a way. I know.
Giovanni says, keep laughing. Oh, bring in your pocketbook, Giovanni. I gave you a 2-to-1 odds. 2-to-1, man. $100.
I forgot. Is Giovanni like at the Robert Rothberg level of belief in the Giants, or what's his deal?
Yeah, he's. I think he's got a little. He's drinking some Kool-Aid. I think he's. I think Giovanni is that Giovanni? Is that synonymous with Jonestown? Jonestown Giovanni. Drinking the here's to you, Giovanni. Just pretend this is Kool-Aid. Red.
Hey, put the link in, Eric. See if he or anybody else wants to come on and have a discussion. Although I'm very, very interested to go to MHC tonight. So
yeah, we're gonna.
Oh yeah,
we're not. We're not going to go too long tonight. What time's the MHC scheduled for?
9:30. That's what we're scheduled for. But I can always adjust.
No, we'll be good and gone.
9:15.
Yeah, that was the plan. 9:15.
You know our plans, though. Please, nobody mention any trivia in the chat because that will push Dan and all of us to like 11:15.
Yeah,
that is his weakness. Yeah, he starts shaking when he hears trivia because he gets real competitive.
Ron Raquel, sip the Kool-Aid. There we go. Yeah, come on, guys. I mean, hey, look, I'm hoping the Giants make the playoffs. I'm going to be rooting for them day 1, day 2, whatever, when the season goes along. It's going to be fun to watch some of the younger guys. Hopefully we see Casey Schmidt a lot at third, and we see Ramos, Matos, Luciano. I want to see these guys. Lee, I'm excited to see these guys. But what you guys fail to, that really are the Giovanni's looking at, I don't think you look at the rest of baseball. Nobody in baseball. I listened to it today. They did a whole deal on MLB Network. Radio Network on the NL West. They went through each team. They said, take the over on the D-backs. It's like 84 or something. Their only concern about the D-backs was their bullpen, that they felt like their bullpen needed to be strengthened. And they said them in Texas, when it's talked about bullpens. But when they came to the Giants, they said, this team, more than any other team in baseball, is the hardest to figure out because we just have no idea what they're going to do. They seem like, constantly that 500 type team. And a lot of people are still saying the Giants have the most realistic shot at Chapman and even Snell is in that category. I hope they don't sign Chapman. I'd rather see J.D. Davis or Schmidt. For definitely Schmidt is the guy, but Davis is I think he's as good a hitter or better hitter than, I think if Davis is probably a better hitter, but Chapman's a better fielder, but not by a ton.
But if you combine J.D. Davis and Casey Schmidt, if you start J.D. a majority of the games at third, he's going to hit better than Chapman. And then if they get a lead, they can bring in Casey for defensive replacements. So you have two players, one that can hit really good and defend okay. The other guy can defend fantastic and yet to be determined hitting. You can get both of those guys, which are basically Chapman, for $6.75 million, or you can give Chapman $20 million. And that's just, if ownership is about saving money and Farhan saying we need to sign Chapman, then they really need to look and say, bro, you don't really know what you're doing at all.
Robert, you want to take that one, Eric?
Is it possible the Giants are close? Cobb and Ray will make a difference. It could, but the problem is you got Cobb coming off of a hip surgery, 35 years old. You don't know what he's going to be like. You don't know. It's probably going to take a few starts for him to kind of get to where he probably needs to be. But then again, he may not come back. Ray, no. I don't think so. Next year, I think he's going to be a lot better. But I think this year, it's going to be too much of a question mark. When you're coming off of Tommy John just after a year, about a year, right? Maybe just a tad over a year.
Hey, Giovanni, again, let's put up some money because you know what? I don't think you'll be around in September unless you put up money and you're winning, because I don't think you're going to come back around and say I was wrong. I don't see it, Giovanni. Yeah.
Are we deaf? Interesting that you text that asking if we're deaf. Interesting.
You have the link.
Maybe you want to put, are you blind? Maybe that would be a little bit in line with what's going
Giovanni has a lot of faith in the Giants' 3, 4, and 5 starters. Nobody in the country does, but him and Robert Rothberg do.
Whatever.
Mark Graves says we're not deaf, Giovanni. We're just not listening to you.
And we can't listen. We can read what you're doing.
Smoking rocks. Oh man.
Bellevue.
Yeah. Well, listen, guys. I mean, it's they're not projected to make the playoffs right now. Could they? Sure.
Sure.
Anything can happen.
Anything can happen.
The Mets and the Padres and the Cardinals all were projected to do well last year. So the odds are that the 6 teams that are projected to make the playoffs this year, there will be a 1 or 2 surprises. It happens pretty much every year in baseball. I mean, 21, for example, was a total surprise. Mm-hmm. The Giants were a surprise. They were a surprise team. They played way above their heads, and they've come back down to who they really are. And you can't do that magical mix and match the whole year and continue to have everything go right. What's happening now is Farhan's law of averages is catching up to him in that he had all these little dinky signings here and there for the first 5 years, and everything fell into place in 21. You know, Estrada played well, Flores played well, Lamont Wade played well, Donovan Solano, guys that he signed, all just, Gosman pitched great. Guys just had phenomenal years. Mm-hmm. And then we saw last year, all of his signings pretty much tanked with the exception of Taylor Rogers. They were all pretty bad. Minaya, you could say, kind of righted the ship in the second half and turned out to be okay, right? But Conforto was not good. There was like 2 or 3 other. Oh, Haniger, definitely not good. Those were, he had a couple of other signings. He had like 6 or 7. Oh, Peterson, terrible, right? 19 million.
19 million.
And then Haniger, whatever it was. So like a 15 million average. He's already moved off of those guys.
You know what's funny, Dan, as you say that? Since Farhan has been here, the longest contract he's ever given out before Lee was 3 years, right?
3 years to La Stella.
3 years to La Stella, 3 years to Haniger.
3 years to DeSclafani. None of them
3 years. How many of them even made it?
None.
Haniger made 1 year. La Stella, 1 year. Right?
I think Listella was here for 2, right?
Like 1.5, because I think he was hurt in that second year.
Yeah. He's
And then DeScalfani makes it 2.
If I may, let me take us all the way up until 9:30 and
9:30. I thought we were going to get off at 9:15.
Oh, okay. Then I won't ask this question. Okay.
Well, take us to 9:20. Can we do it at 9 to 9:20?
No, I'll save it because it's going to take about maybe 20 minutes of discussion, probably.
Oh.
It's because I know it's going to be a lot of back and forth. So yeah, I know we want to get to.
It's all good if you guys want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to tease, but it's
all good.
Pretty good
Hold-
question.
hold
We'll
it
save
to-
it for another time because I want everybody in the chat to be involved with it.
We can't condense it to 12, 14 minutes. We can go.
Okay, we can do that.
I want to get out of here before 9:20, 9:25 latest.
I had to think about this because it's easy to say top 3, so I'm not going to say top 3, and it's going to be really hard to pick one. What is your favorite sports movie of all time? Any sport. And while you guys are thinking about it, because there's a lot that I like, and I had to really think about it. And actually, I watched a few in the last couple of weeks.
I'm not chatting in Larry's chat. That if there's somebody else, it's not me.
Very difficult decision. Hockey is my 4th favorite sport. But I have to say, and I watched it again last week, Miracle.
Oh, nice.
You just feel good about that movie.
You
got to think about the history of where the United States was. This is kind of leading into Eric's show coming up in history. You got to remember the U.S., what it went through in the 70s with the Iranian hostages, with the bomb, with gasoline being difficult to find, with 3 Mile Island, Watergate. I mean, the United States was reeling in the 70s. And here comes the Lake Placid hockey team. And here comes a team that had no business beating this monster Soviet Union hockey team. Right. That would be like the dream team of basketball losing to Ghana in basketball. That would be the equivalent. That it was such a mismatch. And that movie is so inspiring to see what those kids did. And Herb Brooks, who was the coach of the U.S. hockey team, gave one of the absolute best motivational speeches I've ever seen before any game in my life. So as far as a feel-good movie, and I know there's some others out there. I don't want to mention them because I don't want to give them away because you guys got to pick yours, but it was a tough decision. But yeah, I really like Miracle. That's my favorite sports movie.
There's so many.
I
know. Many.
I know. Just pick
one. I'm probably, this is a little bit more recency bias. This is just relatively in the last couple of years. But I love a true underdog story, an American underdog with Kurt Warner.
Interesting.
What he went through to come off of being a grocery stocker to play for the Iowa whatever Barnstormers in some arena league football, and then what he went through with his wife and the kid that he adopted was abused by the child's father. Did you see the movie, Eric?
No, I haven't seen that.
Oh, great movie. Great movie. The Hill. I did see The Hill, Mark. The one with is that the one with the baseball player in Texas that like was trying out and went like 7 for 7 in the game or something? Is that the one, Mark? With a pitcher, he had a bad foot or something, ankle. Yes. Yeah. That was a great movie. Watch that guy. I think I told you guys about that, right?
Yeah. So you're talking about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Great movie. I love that movie.
Oh, there's no wrong answers. I mean, just there's so many. Eric, which one comes to mind for you?
Man, I always love, when I got a little bit older, it's Field of Dreams. Loved it. But you know what?
Gone with the Wind, did you say?
No,
What?
come on.
Oh.
Come on. But you know what movie I absolutely
Based on our
loved when I
sound
was a
effects
kid,
we do on this show, Gone with the Wind would be.
and I haven't seen this movie in years. Do you remember the movie called Victory? Sylvester Stallone, Pele.
That's an old school one.
Remember, it was a soccer. They were at a POW camp, and they challenged the German national team. And during the game, they made their escape. It's pretty fantastic. I love that movie. I think Stallone was the goalie. Of course, Pele was the guy.
Hey, my wife and I watched
Michael
the movie
Caine.
just 3 or 4 days ago. I'd seen it before, but she'd never seen it. And The Game Stands Tall. The Game Stands Tall, the true story of the De La Salle high school football team. And the coach, the defensive coach in that movie, Terry Edson, is my brother's best friend. They've known each other for 40 years. And I know Terry pretty well. In fact, one of these days I'm going to get Terry on here and we're going to do a horse racing show. He's an excellent horse racing handicapper. Get him and Lou Marston, who owns some horses down at Santa Anita. And we will have a horse racing show. I think we'll probably do something when we get closer. I think the next big race is what, the Derby? Is the Derby?
The springtime, right? Yeah.
Springtime, yeah.
Derby's in May.
May, I think, yeah. You got the Derby, and then you go to the.
I love the horses.
Preakness,
love the horses.
And Belmont.
And then the Belmont, yeah.
Yeah, a movie is one of your top movies if you're kind of flipping channels and you see something and you just watch it. You might have seen it 10, 15 times. It might be just.
That's a good movie. Yeah, Seabiscuit's a good movie. Any given Sunday, Brian Iglesias says. Yeah,
Secretariat's a good movie too.
Oh yeah, man, what a horse that was! What a horse.
Yep.
Yeah. I love true stories. So Secretariat, you know, when I mentioned the Game Stands Tall, De La Salle. I mean, there was some stuff in there that was fictional, like they had some character in there winning a state rushing title. He didn't even exist. They made it all around this guy part of the story.
If you love baseball is your favorite sport, then it's going to be The Natural. It's going to be Bull Durham. It's going to be Field of Dreams.
Yep.
Or Sandlot.
And that's what kind of makes my choice interesting, because hockey is my fourth favorite sport. But it's just a
great movie.
It was more than just a team. It was a country versus Cold War type of game. It was freedom versus capitalism. Freedom, capitalism versus communism.
Yep.
So it was a lot deeper than just a hockey game.
They do need to make a movie. In fact, they need to make a movie. I know they have one with Jackie Robinson.
Yeah, that's good. 42.
Good movie. But they really should do a movie on the whole Negro Leagues. And
they did
so many stories.
But Mays and Aaron and all those guys that.
Even guys before that, the early guys like
Satchel Paige
and Cool Papa Bell and
Josh Gibson.
Josh Gibson, yeah. They say he was maybe the best hitter ever, Josh Gibson.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Maybe the best catcher ever of all time. Maybe.
You know what, Giovanni? I would agree with you with that. That's a good movie. Rocky.
Yeah.
I was thinking, is that a sport
Rocky's
movie?
A damn good movie.
And I guess technically it is.
It is. I would say boxing's a sport, right?
That's an excellent choice. Good job, Giovanni.
But, I mean.
Your stock went up a little bit.
Baseball was. I thought it was better in the era when you had all those guys coming up, Mays, McCovey, Bonds, Aaron, from the Negro Leagues, and then they started getting drafted straight out of, into the draft. I mean, it's a shame that we don't see more black athletes playing baseball. Because it would just add so much more talent to the game. They're missing
that component. I would agree with that.
And baseball needs to invest in the inner cities and really get fields built, nice fields, pay for the equipment, I mean, my goodness, stinking New York City mayor is giving out $10,000 prepaid debit cards for illegal aliens. And we got people all over the streets in the LA, San Francisco, New York, all the major cities, and we just let them sit there. And they're giving these migrants free hotels and $10,000 for a family. And then when it runs out, they renew it.
That's always been the knock against baseball, though. Why young people don't play it is it's
expensive.
It's the longest journey to get to the big leagues.
It is. It's very tough, and that's why
people don't like tough nowadays. They like instant gratification.
Right? They like instant.
Yes.
But I'll tell you what.
You know what I mean?
The NBA
they want the shortcut.
NBA is tough because you've got mania. They're human beings, exactly, but they should come here legally. The United States obligation is to its citizens. Okay? Period. End of subject. I'm not against taking care of people, but you don't let them in illegally and then give them benefits and asylum and all of that. Otherwise, you're not going to have a country. Okay?
But yeah, baseball's the hardest road to get. But to quote the great Tom Hanks from a very underrated movie, A League of Their Own, the hard is what makes it great. That's what makes it special. If it wasn't hard, everybody would do it.
Right.
You know, the G League in NBA, I mean, it's very, very tough to get into the NBA because there's only like 15 full-time jobs. And some of the rosters, they don't even fill them. Like the Warriors have been carrying like a 13 roster. And then I heard they're going to make Canonas a full-time. They're going to take them off two-way lows and give Canonas, which I like. But it's tough to make it in the NBA. Baseball's probably the toughest sport because you have hundreds of players in the minors and only a few make it. And the average lifespan of a major league player is like 3 years so very few people make it big. So what I would say is, how do you correct that so you get more guys playing baseball and taking that longer path? I think you increase the salaries of the minor leagues and that you invest in those teams and you take some of the revenues from your major league teams, and instead of having everything so spread out, that these owners invest in their minor league teams. And the conditions are really, really rough in a lot of these franchises. So I it's also, like you said, it's much tougher to make it than it is in the 50s and 60s now, because there's so many more levels they got to jump to. But anyway, we're going to close out here, guys. I do want to finish off the show and just say this. The beginning, we put out the Boras 4. I'm going to make a prediction that the first one to sign is Chapman of those 4.
Okay.
I hope it's not the Giants, but I got a feeling it might be. But I think these guys are not going to get the contracts that they were seeking. And it would not shock me if 1, 2, 3, or all 4 end up having to take lower deals, a 1 to 2 year deal, and try and go back into the market again. I think I don't think anybody takes a 1 year deal. I think they get a 2 year, maybe with an opt out, with the chance to go back into free agency.
Interesting.
That's what I'm thinking. I think guys are going to get 2 to 3 year deals.
Yeah, more likely.
And we'll see. It's going to be who are we talking about? Weirdo. Who's a weirdo?
Don't even worry about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, there's a couple comments in the chat that don't really need to be
Mania. You know what? You're really, really close to getting on my nerves. And we welcome everybody. Try legally. My wife's a legal immigrant. Took her a year to get into this country, and it costs me thousands of dollars to get my wife. Not just somebody just coming from anywhere across the world and just coming in illegally. I was married to her for a year, and it took a year to get her here, and jumping through all kinds of hoops. And so don't tell me we welcome everybody, because I couldn't get her here for a year. And I had letters written to try and get her here earlier because just to visit to see my dying mother. And they denied it 3 times because they were afraid that she wouldn't go back. So don't tell me you're speaking to the wrong dude, Mania.
Yeah, we don't want to get into it.
I just get irritated with clowns like this guy. I'm about ready to toss him out of here for good. Seriously, I'm about ready to send your you know what packing, and you don't see the light of day for NorCal sports again. Jeez.
Matthew, all I'll say to that is the Giants have been linked to every free agent since free agency started in late November. So I don't really put too much credit into that. But, thanks for letting us know. But, nah.
Dan only like illegals when he does his yard work. Yeah, my yard work guy happens to be here legally, and he's going to be turned a citizen. It's called a green card. Okay, Jimmy G? It's called a green card. It's called legal. You guys are clowns, I mean,
Dan, they're doing this on purpose. They're trying to go.
Well, you know what? I'll just get them out of here, and we just don't need them. Anyway, we're done, guys. So go over to Military History Chronicles. Going to get started up right here, and Military History Chronicles. Eric, tell us what you're going to talk about tonight.
I'm going to talk about presidents who've had military experience. We're going to not touch on all of them because there's a lot of presidents who've had military experience. Going to touch on 3: George Washington, Ulysses S. Grant, and good old Teddy Roosevelt. So we'll get into that. And we'll do some honorable mentions. I know Los wants to get into JFK.
Hold on. Let me Jimmy G. Bye. You're gone.
And with that, arrivederci.
Yes, Smokes. I served 21 years.
Anybody else want to take a shot at me tonight? I'm in no mood. Hate is not good, Dan. Love is the answer. That's right. Did I say anything about hate? I did not, but we'll see you. Goodbye. You're banned. All right. I don't need these guys.
Fair enough.
And like my boy said in Back to the Future, you need to make like a tree and get the hell
out of here. Good old Biff, man. Good old Biff.
And get the hell out of here. It's leave.
Yeah,
it's leave.
I'm having fun. Having fun letting guys go. Yep. Giants beta. I bet you hate LGBT too. No, love them. Don't agree with them, but love them. How's that? Everybody's free to live their life. If you want to do what you want to do, that's fine. Just don't shove it down everybody else's throat.
Unlike the Giants, NorCal Sports Network does not keep 2-star people on the roster. We cut them.
Yeah. Okay.
And with that, off we go.
Off we go. On to Military History Chronicles.
Woo! Here we go.
Anybody else? Anybody else? Oh, tomorrow night.
Whoa.
Tomorrow night.
You stuff already.
Are you doing a show tomorrow night?
Yeah, I'll do a show tomorrow night. That's
okay,
cool.
NorCal Sports. Eric probably be doing a solo.
Maybe I'll bring someone in from the chat.
Maybe Will B or Matthew or somebody. It definitely won't be Giants Mania.
maybe we'll bring Cliff Martinez. He was good last time he came on.
Yeah, Cliff Martinez is good. Yeah.
No, he took off. He's already going over there. All right, guys,
right,
head over
see-
to Military History Chronicles. We'll see you over there. Woo!